He was worth 40 billion and he was 5 seconds away from destroying the most exclusive restaurant in Manhattan. Sheikh Karim Al-Wahid doesn't just get angry, he destroys careers. The owner was trembling, the manager was hyperventilating, and the security detail was already moving to clear the exit. It was over. But then a 22-year-old waitress named Anna, who had less than $10 in her bank account, did the unthinkable. She stepped forward and said 3 words that froze the entire room. "You think you know how this ends? You have no idea." This is the true story of how a spilled glass of water led to the biggest corporate takedown in New York history. Anna could feel the blood pulsing in her heels. It was 7:45 p.m. on a Tuesday at the Obsidian, a restaurant so exclusive that the menu didn't have prices and the front door didn't have a handle. You had to be buzzed in. Anna Jenkins wasn't supposed to be on the floor tonight. She was a back waiter, the invisible force that refilled water glasses and cleared breadcrumbs, while the captains, handsome men in Italian suits named Julian or Stefan, took the orders and the massive tips. But Julian had the flu, and Stefan had walked out 3 hours ago after an argument with the head maitre d', a terrifying Frenchman named Laurent. Laurent snapped his fingers, the sound cracking like a whip across the prep station. "Wake up, table 4 is yours. Do not breathe on them. Do not speak unless spoken to. And for the love of God, if you drop anything, don't bother coming back to the kitchen. Just keep walking out the front door." Anna swallowed hard, nodding. She adjusted her apron. She needed this job. Her tuition for NYU was 3 weeks late, and her landlord in Queens had slid a final notice under her door that morning. She was 22, exhausted and running on nothing but caffeine and fear. "Who is that table for?" Anna asked, her voice trembling slightly. Laurent's face went pale. He leaned in, his eyes wide. "Sheikh Karim Al-Wahid. He just landed from Riyadh. He is meeting with Alistair Sterling, the CEO of Sterling Hale. They are discussing a merger that is worth more than the GDP of a small country." The sheikh is particular. Particular was an understatement. In the hospitality industry, the Al-Wahid list was legendary. No purple flowers. Room temperature must be exactly 68 degrees. Sparkling water must be poured at a 45-degree angle. If he was unhappy, he didn't just complain. He bought the building and fired the staff. Anna smoothed her skirt. "I can do this?" "You have no choice," Laurent hissed. "Go." The dining room of the Obsidian was designed to intimidate. Everything was black marble, gold leaf, and velvet. The silence was heavy, broken only by the clinking of silver against china. At table 4, the best seat in the house, sat 2 men. Alistair Sterling was a classic Wall Street shark, 60 years old, tan leather skin, a smile that didn't reach his eyes. He looked comfortable. Opposite him sat Sheikh Karim Al-Wahid. He was younger than Anna expected, perhaps in his late 30s. He wore a bespoke navy suit that probably cost more than Anna's entire college education. His beard was trimmed with geometric precision, and his dark eyes were scanning the room with a look of utter profound boredom. He looked like a coiled cobra waiting to strike. Behind him stood 2 massive bodyguards, their hands clasped, eyes scanning for threats. Anna approached with the water pitcher. Her heart was hammering against her ribs like a trapped bird. "Don't spill, don't speak, just pour." "So Karim," Alistair Sterling was saying, his voice loud and booming, "the board is ready to sign. We just need your final approval on the logistics hubs in Dubai. I assume the port authority is under your control." The sheikh didn't look at Alistair. He was staring at his fork. He picked it up, inspected it, and set it down with a clatter. "The port is not the issue, Alistair," Karim said. His English was perfect, accented with the prestigious lilt of British boarding schools. "The issue is trust. I hear rumors about your liquidity. I hear you are leveraging assets you do not own." Alistair laughed, a nervous hacking sound. "Rumors, competitors trying to scare you. We are solid." Anna stepped in. She moved to the sheikh's right side. She took a breath, tilted the bottle, and began to pour the sparkling water into his crystal goblet. She was doing it perfectly. The water rose to the rim, stopping exactly where it should. Then it happened. Alistair Sterling, animated by his own lies, threw his hand out to emphasize a point. "We are untouchable, Karim. His heavy Rolex struck Anna's wrist. It wasn't a hard hit, but it was enough. The bottle slipped from her sweaty grip. Time seemed to slow down. Anna watched in horror as the heavy glass bottle of San Pellegrino tumbled through the air. It didn't hit the sheikh. It didn't hit Alistair. It hit the edge of the table, shattered, and sent a tsunami of ice-cold sparkling water and shards of glass exploding onto Sheikh Karim's lap. The sound of the breaking glass silenced the entire restaurant. The music seemed to stop. Every diner turned. The manager froze by the kitchen door, his face turning a shade of gray, usually reserved for corpses. Anna stood there, her hands still outstretched, paralyzing terror gripping her throat. Sheikh Karim al-Wahid slowly looked down at his soaked trousers. He picked a shard of glass off his knee. He stood up. The chair scraped loudly against the marble floor. "Get out!" Alistair Sterling yelled at Anna, his face purple. "You stupid girl! Look what you've done!" But the sheikh held up a hand, silencing Alistair. The sheikh's face wasn't red, it was coldly, dangerously calm. He looked at Anna. He looked at her like she was a bug he had found in his salad. Then he turned to his bodyguards. "We are leaving," Karim said. "Karim, wait," Alistair pleaded, standing up. "It's just an accident. We can get you a change of clothes." The deal is dead," Karim said, his voice carrying across the silent room. "This place is a circus, and you bring me to a circus to discuss billions. It shows a lack of judgment, Alistair, and I do not do business with men who lack judgment." He turned to walk away. Laurent, the manager, rushed forward, practically sliding on his knees. "Your Highness, please. We will fire her immediately. She is gone. Please allow us to comp the meal. Allow us to—" Karim ignored him. He was storming toward the exit. The entourage was moving. The merger was dead. Anna was fired. The restaurant's reputation was ruined. It was a disaster of biblical proportions. Anna's mind was racing. She was going to lose her job. She was going to be evicted. But more than that, she felt a strange burning injustice. It wasn't her fault. Sterling had hit her. She watched the sheikh's back retreating. He was muttering something to his head of security. He was speaking fast in a low, furious growl. He was speaking Arabic. Anna's ears pricked up. "Al-Makad Rajul Kadaburasani. This place is filthy, and the man is a liar. He wants to rob me." He continued, "Anna, I know the lands at the port do not belong to him." Anna froze. She knew that dialect. It wasn't the formal Arabic learned in textbooks. It was the Khaliji dialect of the Gulf, specific, fast, and filled with idioms. She didn't think. She didn't calculate. The adrenaline hijacked her brain. "Your Highness!" Anna shouted. The room gasped. "You do not shout at a sheikh." Karim stopped. He didn't turn around. Anna took a step forward, her hands shaking, and she spoke, not in English. "Sterling, Mr. Sterling doesn't own the land, but the food isn't bad, and I didn't spill the water on purpose." The silence that followed was heavier than before. It was a vacuum. Slowly, terrifyingly, Sheikh Karim al-Wahid turned around. The sheikh's eyes were narrowed, his brow furrowed in genuine confusion. He looked at the waitress, this messy, terrified girl in a cheap uniform covered in water splashes, and then looked at his security guard as if to check if he was hallucinating. He walked back toward her, his expensive leather shoes crunching softly on a piece of broken glass. He stopped 2 feet from her. He smelled of oud wood, expensive tobacco, and rain. "What did you say?" he asked in English. Anna's heart was beating more hard. She thought it might bruise her ribs. She switched back to Arabic, her accent rusty but undeniably authentic. The accent of someone who had lived in the compound. "I said, he doesn't own the land, sir." She paused, then added in a lower voice, keeping eye contact. "Ah, and you shouldn't leave your lunch because of a foolish man." Alistair Sterling looked between them, panic rising in his chest. "What? What is she saying? Is she insulting me? Karim, this girl is insane. I'll have security remove her." "Silence," Karim snapped without looking at Alistair. He didn't take his eyes off Anna. "Where did you learn to speak like that?" Karim asked, his voice dropping an octave. "You are American. You look entirely American." "My father," Anna whispered. "He was an engineer, oil and gas. We lived in Tehran for 10 years, then Dubai for 5. I went to the international school, but our nanny, she was from your region. She didn't speak English. She raised me. Kareem studied her face. He was looking for a lie. He was a man who had survived corporate espionage, assassination attempts, and family betrayals. He trusted no one. Daran, he mused. Camp 1 or Camp 2? It was a test, a specific geographical test about the Aramco residential compounds. Camp 1. Camp 1, Anna answered immediately, near the baseball field next to the commissary. A ghost of a smile, or perhaps just a break in the tension, twitched at the corner of Kareem's mouth. He looked down at his wet trousers, then back at Anna. You heard what I said to my guard. Yes, you understood it. Yes, then you know you are serving a liar, Kareem said, gesturing vaguely at Alistair Sterling. Alistair was sweating profusely now. Kareem, please let's sit. I don't know what this girl is playing at. Kareem held up a hand. I'm not leaving. Laurent, the manager, let out a sob of relief. However, Kareem continued, his voice hardening, I will not dine with Mr. Sterling. He pointed a finger at Alistair. You leave. We will reschedule when you can prove ownership of the logistics hub. And if I find out you lied to me, I will short your stock until you are selling pencils on the subway. Alistair Sterling's mouth opened and closed like a fish. He looked at Anna with pure and unadulterated hatred. If looks could kill, Anna would have been incinerated on the spot. But with the Sheikh's bodyguards looming, Alistair had no choice. He grabbed his briefcase and stormed out, shoving past the terrified hostesses. Kareem turned back to Anna. Clear this table, he commanded the hovering busboys. They scrambled like ants. You? He pointed at Anna. Yes, sir. Sit down. Anna blinked. Sir, I can't. I'm the waitress. It's against protocol. Laurent will fire me. Kareem turned his head slowly to look at Laurent. Manager, Kareem said. Laurent jumped. Yes, Your Highness. This woman is joining me for dinner. If she is fired, or if she loses a single dollar of her wages, I will buy this building and turn it into a parking garage. Do you understand? Yes, yes, perfectly. Anna, sit. Please sit. Laurent pulled the chair out for her, his hands shaking. Anna sat. She was dazed. 5 minutes ago, she was a clumsy waitress about to be unemployed. Now she was sitting across from one of the richest men on the planet at a table covered in white linen. I am hungry, Kareem said, adjusting his wet napkin, and I am hauled. You are going to order for me, and you are going to tell me why an engineer's daughter who speaks the dialect of the royal court is serving soup to liars in Manhattan. He leaned forward, his dark eyes intense. And do not lie to me, Anna. I can smell a lie like I can smell cheap cologne. Start talking. Anna looked at the menu. Then she looked at Kareem. The danger wasn't over. In fact, she had the sinking feeling she had just walked out of the frying pan and into a very expensive, very dangerous fire. Well, Anna started, her voice finding a sudden strange strength. First, don't order the lobster. It came in yesterday, not today. The sea bass, however, was swimming this morning. Kareem stared at her for a second, then he threw his head back and laughed. It was a loud, booming laugh that startled the entire room. The sea bass it is, he said. Now the rest. As the waiters poured wine for her and fresh water for him, Anna began to tell him the truth. She told him about her father's illness, the bankruptcy, the loss of their pension, the struggle to finish her degree in international law. She didn't ask for money. She didn't complain. She just stated the facts as she dissected the complex appetizer that arrived. Kareem listened. He didn't check his phone. He didn't look around. He ate his sea bass and listened. But Anna didn't know that they were being watched. Across the room near the bar, a man in a gray suit was speaking into a tiny microphone hidden in his cuff. Target is compromised, the man whispered. The girl speaks the language. She's translated the threat. Sterling is out. Initiate Plan B. The man in the gray suit signaled the waiter. He ordered a bottle of champagne for table 4. Compliments of the house, he told the waiter. But as the waiter walked away to fetch the bottle, the man in the gray suit slipped a small, clear vial from his pocket. He wasn't there to buy them a drink. He was there to ensure that whatever secrets Anna had overheard died with her. Back at the table, Kareem was smiling. You study law? He asked. International corporate law, Anna corrected, though right now I'm mostly studying how to balance 3 plates on one arm. Why didn't you ask me for a job? Kareem asked bluntly. Everyone asks me for a buy or money or a picture. Because I broke your glass, Anna said. And because my father told me that a man who has to ask or respect deserves none. I've figured the same applies to favors. Kareem looked at her with a new expression. Respect. Just then the waiter arrived with the champagne bucket. Compliments of a gentleman at the bar, the waiter said, popping the cork. Kareem frowned. I don't drink alcohol. It is for the lady, the waiter said, pouring a frothy glass for Anna. Anna reached for the glass. She was parched. The adrenaline crash was hitting her. Wait, Kareem said sharply. Anna's hand froze inches from the glass. Kareem was looking at the bubbles in the glass. He was looking at the way they fizzed. Who sent this? Kareem demanded, looking around the room. The gentleman in the gray suit by the bar. The waiter pointed. The bar was empty. He was just there, the waiter stammered. Kareem grabbed Anna's wrist. His grip was like iron. Do not drink that, he ordered. Why, it's just champagne. I know champagne, Kareem said, his voice dropping to a whisper. And I know chemistry. The bubbles, they are dissolving too fast. There is an agent in there. He stood up, scanning the room, his bodyguards instantly flanking him. The relaxed dinner atmosphere evaporated in a split second. We are leaving, Kareem said. Now, and you are coming with me. What? I can't go with you, Anna protested. Anna, Kareem looked her in the eyes. You humiliated a very powerful man tonight by exposing his lie. And now someone tried to drug or poison you. You are no longer safe here. He pulled her up. Walk, don't run, walk. As they moved toward the door, Anna looked back at the table. The glass of champagne sat there, innocent and deadly, the bubbles dying out one by one. They burst out onto the cool Manhattan street. A convoy of black SUVs was waiting. Get in, Kareem ordered, opening the door of the armored Mercedes. Anna hesitated on the curb. The neon lights of New York reflected in the rain-slicked streets. This was insanity. She should run. She should call the police. But then she saw him. Across the street, standing under the awning of a bodega, was Alistair Sterling. And next to him was the man in the gray suit. Sterling pointed at Anna. He drew a finger across his throat. Anna shivered. She looked at Kareem, who was holding the door open, his hand extended. Trust me, he said. Anna took his hand and climbed into the darkness of the car. The heavy door slammed shut, sealing out the noise of the city, and the convoy peeled away into the night. She thought the drama was over. She thought she was safe. She was wrong. The night had only just begun. The convoy of SUVs didn't stop until they reached the underground loading dock of the Steinway Tower, the thinnest, most precious skyscraper in Manhattan. It was a needle of glass and steel piercing the clouds. Anna was ushered out of the car by the bodyguards. Her legs felt like jelly. She was still wearing her black waitress uniform, stained with sparkling water and the sticky residue of fear. Move, Kareem said. His voice wasn't angry anymore. It was efficient. Hamza, lock down the elevators. No one comes up without a retinal scan. No one. Hamza, the massive head of security who had been silent in the car, nodded. He tapped his earpiece. Perimeter is secure, Your Highness. We are going dark. They shot up 85 stories in an elevator that moved so fast Anna's ears popped 3 times. When the doors opened, she wasn't greeted by a home, but by a fortress. The penthouse was a sprawling expanse of floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking Central Park, which looked like a black rectangular void in the glowing city grid. The furniture was sparse, modern, and cold. Kareem walked straight to a massive mahogany desk in the center of the living area, stripping off his suit jacket and tossing it onto a $20,000 sofa. Sit, he commanded, pointing to a leather chair opposite the desk. Anna sat. She wrapped her arms around herself. Am I kidnapped? Kareem poured himself a glass of water from a crystal decanter. He took a long sip before answering. Kidnapped? No. Rescued? Yes. If you step out of this building tonight, you will be dead before you reach the subway station. Do you understand the gravity of what you heard? I heard he didn't own the land, Anna said, her voice gaining a little edge. It's fraud. It happens every day on Wall Street. Why kill for it? Kareem laughed a dry, humorless sound. He pressed a button on his desk and a holographic screen rose from the surface. He tapped a few keys. Alistair Sterling isn't just committing fraud. Anna, the logistics hub he is trying to sell me, the one he claims to own, is currently the subject of a classified UN sanction. It sits on a land that is being used to funnel illegal cobalt out of conflict zones. If I sign that deal, my family's assets would be frozen by the World Bank within 24 hours. It would trigger a geopolitical crisis in the Gulf. It would destroy my country's economy. Anna stared at him. And he thinks you don't know. He thinks I am a dumb oil prince with more money than brains, Kareem said, his eyes flashing with a cold intelligence. He thinks I don't read the fine print, but he is wrong. I knew something was off. I just didn't know what until you translated his panic. Kareem leaned forward. Now tell me, you study law. You want to be a lawyer? Yes. Prove it. Kareem slid a thick file across the desk. It was stamped with the Sterling Hale logo. This is the preliminary contract. I have 20 lawyers on retainer who looked at this and found nothing wrong. They said it was standard. You have fresh eyes. You have 10 minutes. Find me the trap. Anna looked at the file. She looked at Kareem. This was a test. If she failed, she was just a liability to be hidden away. If she succeeded, she was an asset. She opened the file. Her hands were still shaking, but as her eyes scanned the dense legal text, her brain took over. This was what she did. This was the language she loved. Force majeure clauses, indemnification, choice of law. The room was silent except for the humming of the server stack in the corner and the ticking of a grandfather clock. 7 minutes passed. Time is almost up, Kareem said, checking his watch. Wait, Anna whispered. She flipped back 3 pages, then forward again, her finger tracing a line in the appendix. Here, she said. Kareem stood up and walked around the desk. He stood behind her, looking over her shoulder. What? Clause 14, Section B, the arbitration clause, Anna said, pointing. It says that all disputes will be settled in the jurisdiction of the holding entity. Typical. Yes, standard, Kareem said. But look at the definition of the holding entity in Appendix C. Anna flipped the pages rapidly. It's defined as Sterling Global Trust. Now look at the environmental liability waiver on page 45. She pointed to a tiny footnote. Sterling Global Trust is registered in the Caymans, but for the purpose of environmental liability, it defers to the local laws of the subsidiary. So, Anna looked up at him. If the UN sanctions hit, or if the toxic waste on that land is discovered, the liability doesn't go to the parent company. It doesn't go to you. It goes to the subsidiary. And who owns the subsidiary? Kareem asked slowly. You do, Anna said. Or you would have. Look at the transfer of stock. The moment you sign this, you don't just buy the land. You automatically acquire 100% of a shell company called Vanguard Logistics. And Vanguard has a pre-existing debt of $4 billion listed in a separate attachment that isn't included here. Anna tapped the paper. It's a debt bomb. He's not selling you land, Sheikh Kareem. He's selling you a $4 billion debt wrapped in a pretty bow. The moment you sign, his company is solvent, and yours is on the hook for $4 billion plus the UN sanctions. He bankrupts you to save himself. Kareem stared at the paper. He read the lines she pointed out. His 20 highly paid lawyers had missed it because they were looking for property law issues, not a complex shell game of debt restructuring hidden in the definitions section. Kareem straightened up. He looked at Anna with a profound intensity. You found in 8 minutes what my team missed in 8 days, he said softly. I'm good at puzzles, Anna said, managing a weak smile. You are not a waitress, Kareem said. Not anymore. Suddenly, the lights in the penthouse flickered. The holographic screen on the desk turned red. Hamza burst into the room, his gun drawn. Sir, we have a situation. Did they breach the perimeter? Kareem asked, his voice calm. No, sir, it's worse. Turn on the news. Kareem grabbed a remote and flicked on the giant wall screen. It was tuned to a global news network. The headline banner screamed in bright red, "Breaking news scandal at the Obsidian." A reporter was standing outside the restaurant where they had just eaten. Police lights flashed in the background. We are receiving shocking reports tonight, the reporter said, looking grave. Billionaire industrialist Sheikh Kareem Al-Wahid fled the scene of a high-stakes dinner tonight after allegedly assaulting a member of the staff. Anna gasped, her hands flying to her mouth. The screen cut to a shaky cell phone video. It was edited heavily. It showed the moment the water spilled. It showed Kareem standing up aggressively. It showed Alistair Sterling shouting, "Look what you've done, tweaking." But the audio was garbled and the angle made it look like Kareem had shoved Anna. Then it showed Kareem dragging Anna out of the restaurant by her wrist. It looked like an abduction. The screen cut back to Alistair Sterling. He was standing on the street corner, looking shaken and sympathetic. "It was horrible," Alistair told the cameras, acting his heart out. "We were discussing charity work. The poor girl, she made a simple mistake. He snapped. He went into a rage. He grabbed her. I tried to stop him, but his security threatened me. We are very concerned for the young woman's safety. Her name is Anna Jenkins." Anna's face appeared on the screen, her student ID photo from NYU. "Oh my God," Anna whispered. My mom is going to see this." "He is spinning the narrative," Kareem said, his jaw tight. "He knows the deal is dead, so he is destroying me before the market opens tomorrow. If I am a pariah, the bank will pull my lines of credit. He wins by default." "He's using me," Anna said, tears welling up. "He's ruining my life to get to you." "You are safe here," Kareem said firmly. "We will issue a statement." "A statement won't work." Anna stood up, anger overriding her fear. "Look at Twitter. Look at the internet." She pulled out her cracked iPhone. Her notifications were exploding. Thousands of messages, death threats, calls from tabloids, people calling her a victim, people calling her a gold digger, people digging up her old high school photos. "My life is over," Anna said, her voice trembling. "I can't go back to school. I can't get a job. Who hires the girl from the Billionaire assault scandal?" Kareem looked at the screen, then at Anna. He saw the devastation in her eyes. He felt a surge of protectiveness he hadn't felt in years. This innocent woman was collateral damage in his war. "Hamza," Kareem barked, "get the PR team on the line. I want a denial issued immediately." "Sir," Hamza said, looking at his tablet, "we have a problem. The gray suit man, our facial recognition identified him. His name is Silas Thorne. He's a fixer for the cartel Sterling is working with. He wasn't just at the bar." "Where is he?" "He was seen entering Anna's apartment building in Queens 20 minutes ago." Anna screamed, "My cat, my stuff, my laptop with my thesis." "Forget the laptop," Hamza said grimly. "He planted drugs, a lot of them. The police are raiding her apartment right now on an anonymous tip." On the TV, the scene switched to Queens. Police were carrying bags of white powder out of a basement apartment, Anna's apartment. Breaking, police discover cocaine stash in Waitress's apartment. Was the assault a drug deal gone wrong? Anna collapsed onto the sofa. It was a masterclass in destruction. In less than an hour, Alistair Sterling had not only framed Kareem, but had completely discredited the only witness who could speak the truth. If Anna spoke out now, everyone would say she was just a drug dealer trying to save her skin. Kareem walked over to the window. He looked out at the city that was eating them alive. "He plays dirty," Kareem murmured. "He burns the whole board." He turned back to Anna. She was sobbing quietly into her hands. Kareem knelt in front of her. He took her hands away from her face. "Anna, look at me." She looked up. Her eyes were red, her face streaked with tears. "He thinks he has won," Kareem said. "He thinks he has destroyed you to silence you. But he made one mistake." "What?" Anna sniffed. "He made it personal, and he put you in a room with me." Kareem stood up and buttoned his cuffs. A transformation came over him. The bored billionaire was gone. The warrior was back. "Hamza, get the car ready. We aren't hiding in the tower anymore." "Sir," Hamza looked alarmed, "it's suicide to go out there. The police are looking for you. Thorne is looking for you." "We aren't going to the police." Kareem said, "Anna found the debt bomb in the contract, but a contract is just paper. To kill Sterling, we need the provenance. We need the original ledger that proves he knew about the toxic waste." "It's in the Caymans," Hamza argued. "No," Anna said. Her voice was weak but steady. She stood up. "It's not in the Caymans." Both men looked at her. "When I was pouring in the water," Anna said, wiping her eyes, "Sterling was on the phone before you arrived. He was arguing with someone. He said, "The hard drive is safe. It's in the vault at the Midnight Library." Kareem frowned. "The Midnight Library? Is that a club?" "No," Anna said. "It's a speakeasy, a private gambling den in the meatpacking district. It's where the Wall Street guys go to bet illegally. I catered a party there once. It has a vault in the basement where members keep their collateral." If Sterling is leveraging assets he doesn't own, Kareem realized, he would have to keep the physical proof of the real ownership there to show his black market creditors. "Exactly," Anna said. "If we get that drive, we have proof of the fraud, the toxic waste, and the bribery. We send him to prison for life." "It's a fortress," Hamza warned. "Biometric locks, armed guards, invite only." Kareem looked at Anna. He looked at her cheap uniform. "We can't get in as us," Kareem said. "They know my face. And now, thanks to the news, they know yours." Anna walked over to the bathroom door. She looked at her reflection in the mirror. She tied her hair back. She ripped the Sterling Hale logo off her apron. "They know Anna the waitress," she said, turning back to him. "They don't know Anna the distraction." "What do you mean?" "You have billions of dollars," Anna said. "Can you get us disguises, real ones?" Kareem smiled. It was a dangerous, predatory smile. "I can get us anything. But we have to move fast. If Thorne realizes we aren't here, he'll figure out where the loose ends are. We have to rob the Midnight Library before the sun comes up." New York City at 2 o'clock a.m. is never truly quiet. But tonight, the silence in the black unmarked van felt heavy. Kareem and Anna were no longer in the penthouse. They were parked in an alleyway in the meatpacking district, surrounded by the smell of old cobblestones and expensive cologne. The transformation was drastic. Kareem had shaved his beard. It was the first time in 10 years his chin was bare. Without the facial hair, and wearing a ragged hoodie and a Yankees cap, he looked nothing like the Sheikh. He looked like just another tall, brooding New Yorker. Anna had gone the other direction. A makeup artist from Kareem's private staff had been flown in by helicopter. Anna's hair was now a platinum blonde bob. She wore a dress that cost more than her parents' house, a shimmering backless silver gown that looked like liquid mercury. She wore diamond earrings that were heavy enough to hurt. She didn't look like a waitress. She looked like a devastatingly bored European heiress. "Here," Kareem handed her a small earpiece. "Put this in." Anna slid the device into her ear. "Testing loud and clear." Hamza's voice came through. He was in the van monitoring the feeds. "The Midnight Library entrance is through the freezer door of the butcher shop on the corner. The bouncer is a man named Vinny. He likes bribes, but he likes exclusivity more." "Anna," Kareem said. He was sitting next to her in the back of the van. He reached out and adjusted her diamond necklace. His fingers brushed her skin, and she felt a jolt of electricity that had nothing to do with fear. "Yes? You are Countess Elena de Rossi. I am your bodyguard, Marco. You are drunk, you are rich, and you are demanding to see Alistair Sterling's private table. You have to sell it, Anna. If they doubt you for a second, we are dead." "I can do it," Anna said. She took a deep breath. She channeled every rude, entitled customer she had ever waited on. She channeled the women who snapped their fingers at her for more Diet Coke. She let the anger at Sterling, the fear of the police, and the adrenaline fuel her performance. "Let's go," she said. They stepped out of the van. The rain had started again. They walked to the butcher shop. A massive man with a neck like a tree trunk stood by the freezer door. "Private event," the bouncer grunted, blocking the way. Anna didn't stop. She walked straight up to him and slapped him across the face with her clutch. The bouncer was so shocked he stumbled back. "What the hell?" "Do not speak to me," Anna hissed, her accent a perfect haughty mix of Italian and boredom. "I have been standing in this rain for 10 seconds. That is 10 seconds too long." "Marco," she snapped her fingers at Kareem. Kareem stepped forward, radiating menace. He pulled a thick roll of $100 bills from his pocket and shoved them into the bouncer's chest. "The Countess is having a bad night," Kareem growled in a rough street-level accent. "She wants to gamble. She has $50,000 in cash in her purse. Do you want her to spend it here, or should we go to the box?" The bouncer looked at the money. He looked at Anna's shoes, Louboutins straight from the box. He looked at Kareem's size. "Greed wins," he muttered. "Downstairs, second door on the right. Behave." He opened the freezer door. They walked through a corridor hung with sides of beef, the cold air biting at Anna's bare skin. At the end of the hall was a heavy steel door. It opened into a cavernous basement room filled with smoke, jazz, and the richest criminals in New York. "We're in," Anna whispered. "Don't look at the cameras," Kareem murmured, taking her arm. "The vault is behind the bar. We need a distraction to get the bartender away." "I see a Leicester Sterling's table," Anna said, tensing up. In the corner in a VIP booth sat a Leicester Sterling. He was celebrating. He was surrounded by sycophants popping champagne, real champagne this time. He looked like a man who had just gotten away with murder. And sitting next to him, scanning the room with eyes like a shark, was Silas Thorne, the gray suit man. Anna's breath hitched. "Thorne is here." "Keep walking," Kareem said, his grip tightening on her arm to steady her. "We don't need to fight them. We just need to get past them." They made their way to the bar. Anna ordered a martini, loud and demanding. Kareem stood behind her, his eyes scanning the back bar. "I see the keypad," Kareem whispered. "It's under the register. I need 10 seconds to hack it. Hamza is ready to brute force the code remotely, but I need to plug the dongle in." "The bartender is right there," Anna said. "Create a scene," Kareem said. Anna looked at her martini. She looked at the bartender, a hipster with a handlebar mustache. Then she looked at Alistair Sterling across the room. An idea formed in her mind, a terrible, wonderful idea. She didn't just want to create a scene. She wanted to twist the knife. She turned to the bartender. "This drink," she shouted, her voice carrying over the jazz music. "It tastes like poison." The room went quiet. "Excuse me?" the bartender asked. "Poison?" Anna shrieked. She threw the glass. It smashed against the mirror behind the bar, shattering bottles of expensive scotch. Alcohol sprayed everywhere. "You are trying to kill me," Anna screamed, flailing her arms. "Just like that man." She pointed a shaking finger across the room, not at the bartender, at Alistair Sterling. "That man," Anna yelled. "He tried to poison me." Every head in the room turned to Alistair Sterling. Sterling froze, his glass halfway to his mouth. He squinted. He didn't recognize the blonde countess, but he recognized the accusation. "Who is that?" Sterling asked Thorne. Thorne stood up. He stared at Anna. He looked at the way she stood. He looked at her eyes. "That's not a countess," Thorne said, reaching into his jacket. "That's the waitress." "Go!" Kareem shouted. Chaos erupted. Kareem vaulted over the bar. The bartender tried to stop him, but Kareem hit him with a precise military-grade strike to the solar plexus. The man folded. Kareem jammed the decoding device into the keypad of the vault. "Hamza, now." "Working," Hamza yelled in his ear. "Code is cycling. 3, 2, 1. Click." The heavy steel door behind the bar popped open. "Anna, get in." Kareem grabbed her hand and pulled her over the bar. Thorne was moving fast, pushing through the crowd, a suppressed pistol in his hand. Screams filled the room as patrons saw the gun. Kareem and Anna tumbled into the vault just as 2 bullets sparked against the steel doorframe. Kareem slammed the door shut and spun the wheel, locking them inside. Silence. They were safe, but they were trapped in a steel box, 10 feet by 10 feet, with limited air. "We are trapped," Anna panted, leaning against the wall, her chest heaving. "No," Kareem said, turning on his phone's flashlight. The beam cut through the darkness, illuminating rows of safety deposit boxes and shelves stacked with gold bars and black ledgers. "We are exactly where we need to be." He began scanning the shelves. "Sterling, Sterling." "Kareem," Anna whispered. "Look." She pointed to the corner. There was a vent, and coming through the vent was a faint hissing sound and the smell of something acrid. Smoke. "They aren't trying to break in," Anna realized, horror dawning on her. "They're smoking us out, or burning the evidence," Kareem said grimly. He found a black box labeled Vanguard Logistics. He ripped it open. Inside was a hard drive and a stack of paper ledgers. "Got it," he said. "Great." Anna coughed. The smoke was getting thicker. "Now how do we get out before we suffocate?" Kareem looked at the heavy steel door, then at the vent, then at Anna. "Do you trust me?" he asked. "I think it's a little late for that question," Anna said, coughing again. "But yes." "Hamza said this building used to be a prohibition slaughterhouse," Kareem said. "Slaughterhouses have drainage chutes." Big ones. He began pulling up the floor mats. Underneath the heavy rubber was a rusted iron grate. This drops into the old sewer line, Kareem said. It leads out to the Hudson River. We're going to crawl through a sewer? Anna asked, looking at her silver dress. It's the sewer or the fire, Kareem said. He kicked the grate. It didn't budge. Help me. They both stomped on the rusted iron. The smoke was filling the small room, making it hard to see. Outside, they could hear the muffled sound of drilling. Thorne was coming through the door. With one final desperate kick from Kareem, the grate gave way with a screech of tearing metal. A blast of foul, damp air rushed up. Go, Kareem yelled. He shoved the hard drive into Anna's hands. You go first. Drop. Anna didn't hesitate. She clutched the evidence that could take down a billionaire and jumped into the black hole. Kareem followed her just as the vault door blew off its hinges. The darkness was absolute. Anna felt herself sliding down a slick, slimy incline. The air rushing past her ears, filled with the stench of decay and ancient salt water. She wasn't screaming. She was too terrified to scream. She clutched the hard drive to her chest with both hands, curling her body into a ball as Kareem had instructed. Splash! She hit freezing cold water. It wasn't deep, maybe waist high, but the shock of it knocked the breath out of her. She scrambled to her feet, gasping, the taste of brackish Hudson River water in her mouth. Anna! Kareem's voice echoed in the hollow concrete tunnel. I'm here, she choked out. I have the drive. Kareem waded toward her, the beam of his waterproof flashlight cutting through the gloom. He looked like a nightmare, his face smeared with grease, his clothes soaked. But to Anna, he looked like the only solid thing in a world that had gone mad. He grabbed her shoulders. Are you hurt? I don't think so. My ankle twisted, but I can walk. We keep moving, Kareem said, his voice grim. Thorne won't follow us down here. He's a killer, not a sewer rat. But he will be waiting at the nearest exits. We need to go further down the line toward the Chelsea piers. They began the trudge. It was a nightmare march. The tunnel was round, slick with moss and refuse. Rats scurried along the ledges, their eyes reflecting the flashlight beam. Anna's silver gown, once worth thousands of dollars, was now heavy with muck, dragging behind her like a lead weight. She ripped the bottom hem off to move faster. Why are you doing this? Anna asked, her voice echoing off the damp walls. You could have just left me. You could have flown back to Riyadh. You're a billionaire. This isn't your fight. Kareem didn't stop walking, but he slowed his pace slightly to match hers. It became my fight the moment he used my name to intimidate you, Kareem said. And it became my fight when he insulted my intelligence. But mostly, he paused, looking back at her. Mostly because you stood up for me. In my world, Anna, people only tell me what I want to hear. They smile, they bow, and they steal from my pockets. You were the first person in 10 years to look me in the eye and tell me the ugly truth. I just didn't want you to pay for bad food, Anna said, a small shivering laugh escaping her lips. It was more than that, Kareem said softly. You saved my honor. Now I save your life. That is the debt. They walked in silence for another 20 minutes until the air began to smell fresher, like rain and diesel fuel. Exit ahead. Idi down. And Kareem said. They reached a vertical iron ladder leading up to a manhole covers. Kareem climbed first. He pushed the heavy iron lid up an inch, scanning the area. Clear, he whispered. It's an alley behind a warehouse. He shoved the lid aside and climbed out, then reached down and pulled Anna up. They collapsed onto the wet asphalt of the alleyway. The rain was pouring down now, washing away the sewer filth. They were shivering violently. Suddenly, headlights blinded them. Anna screamed, scrambling back against the brick wall. A black van screeched to a halt, blocking the alley exit. The side door slid open. Get in now. It was Hamza. The relief was so intense Anna almost fainted. They scrambled into the back of the van where warm blankets and a first aid kit were waiting. We lost Thorne, Hamza said, throwing the van into reverse and peeling out onto the West Side Highway. But he knows we have the drive. He's calling Sterling right now. Kareem wrapped a wool blanket around Anna, rubbing her arms to get the circulation back. Let him call. It's too late. What time is it? Anna asked, her teeth chattering. Hamza looked at the dashboard. 6:30 a.m. The shareholder meeting, Anna said, her eyes widening. Sterling mentioned it at the restaurant. It's at 9 a.m. at the St. Regis Hotel. He's going to announce the merger. He's going to claim the deal is done to boost the stock price before he flees the country. Kareem looked at the hard drive in Anna's hand. It was dirty, wet, and dented, but the light on the side was still blinking faintly. Hamza, Kareem said, his voice turning into cold steel, take us to the safe house. We need showers. We need clothes. And then? Hamza asked. Kareem looked at Anna. There was a fierce question in his eyes. Anna, Kareem said, you have done enough. I can drop you off at a private airfield. I can fly you to Paris, to London, anywhere safe. You don't have to walk into that room with me. Anna looked at the hard drive. She thought about Alistair Sterling's smug face. She thought about the drugs planted in her apartment. She thought about her mother seeing her face on the news as a criminal. She stopped shivering. No, Anna said, I'm not going to Paris. I'm going to the St. Regis. Kareem smiled. It was the first genuine smile she had seen on his face all night. Good, he said. Then let's go get dressed. The St. Regis Grand Ballroom was packed. Alistair Sterling stood at the podium basking in applause as he announced the fraudulent merger to 500 investors. We are untouchable, he boasted. Suddenly, the double doors crashed open like thunder. The applause died instantly. Sheikh Kareem, resplendent in royal white robes, walked in. Beside him was Anna, not a waitress, but a vision of power in a tailored navy suit. They marched down the center aisle flanked by 6 bodyguards. Sit down, Alistair. Kareem's voice boomed without a microphone. They ascended the stage as Sterling backed away in terror. Security, remove them, Sterling screamed. It was too late. Anna stepped to the podium and plugged in the battered hard drive. Mister, Sterling claims this deal is clean, Anna announced to the stunned room. The truth is in the ledger. She hit a key. The massive screen behind them displayed the secret toxic waste disposal logs and the forged land deeds. Gasps filled the room. Sterling lunged for the laptop, but Hamza intercepted him, pinning his arms. Anna played the final card, the audio recording of Sterling ordering the drug plant in her apartment. If Kareem doesn't sign, burn them both. Sterling's voice echoed over the speakers. The stock ticker in the corner plummeted to 0. Police swarmed the stage. As officers handcuffed Sterling, he looked at Anna with pure hate. You're just a waitress, he spat. Anna leaned into the mic, her voice ice cold. I'm the waitress who just served you, and here is your check. 6 months later, on a private terrace at the Burj Al Arab in Dubai, Anna sat reviewing a contract. She was no longer surviving on tips. She was now Kareem's head of legal strategy. Kareem joined her as the sun set over the Persian Gulf. He poured her water, perfectly angled. The business is stable, he said, taking her hand, but my life is missing a partner. He produced a modest, brilliant diamond ring. You walk through fire and sewage to save my honor, he whispered. I cannot navigate this world without my translator. Will you marry me? Anna looked at the man who had changed her world. Tears of joy filled her eyes. Na'am, she whispered in Arabic, kissing him. Alf Mara. Yes, 1,000 times, yes. The bill was finally paid in full. And that is the incredible true-to-life saga of how a single spilled glass of water toppled a corrupt empire. It proves that power isn't about the suit you wear or the billions in your bank account. In the heart of this captivating tale, where a simple spilled glass of water cascades into a whirlwind of intrigue, betrayal, and redemption, lies a profound life lesson that resonates deeply with all of us navigating the complexities of everyday existence. Anna Jenkins, a young waitress teetering on the edge of despair with barely $10 to her name, embodies the raw power of courage in the face of overwhelming odds. She wasn't born into wealth or privilege like Sheikh Kareem Al-Wahed, yet her decision to speak up, in a language that bridged worlds and exposed deceit, transformed her from an invisible server into a force that toppled a corrupt empire. This story reminds us that true strength isn't measured by bank accounts or bespoke suits. It's forged in moments of vulnerability when we choose integrity over silence. Imagine the fear pulsing through Anna's veins as she shouted in Arabic, risking everything, her job, her future, for a stranger's honor. Yet in that act, she not only saved a billionaire but reclaimed her own destiny, proving that one voice, however trembling, can shatter illusions of power and ignite justice. In our own lives, we often encounter similar crossroads: a dishonest colleague, an unfair situation, or a personal injustice that tempts us to look away. But Anna's journey teaches us that embracing our truths, no matter how rusty or unpolished, can lead to unexpected alliances, profound growth, and even love. It's a poignant reminder that life's greatest victories aren't scripted in boardrooms, but written in the quiet acts of bravery that ripple outward, inspiring change. As we reflect on this emotional saga of resilience and romance, let it stir your soul to stand tall in your own story. If this tale moved you as much as it did me, smash that like button to show your support. It fuels more stories like this. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload. And in the comments below, share your thoughts. What truth have you spoken that changed your life? Let's connect and inspire each other.